Nikola Jokic, famous for seeming to not really care about basketball despite being one of the best basketball players of all time.
He's angry that he grew to be as big as he is because now he can't do horse racing the same way. Like, he can't compete there. He has to just shoulder the burden of being an NBA top 10 great.
Did you watch the cinematic masterpiece, Happy Gilmore 2? It was exactly what it should have been. Packing the nostalgia, a little bit of TikTok brain level entertainment, just a lot of celebrity cameos. And you know what? I liked having the real golfer. It does comment on the nature of golf today. Like the old traditional PGA Tour versus the new LIV Tour in the movie, the Maxi Golf League. Ichiro Suzuki in the Hall of Fame.
On to more mainstream sports. A name no one's ever heard.
What? He's one of the best hitters of all time.
One of the best baseball players of all time. Deion's been in the news here. There's an announcement that actually today he and his team will hold a press conference, his medical team. Now, we're not sure what's going on here. He was battling some serious medical stuff and that he had to make a will. Really emotionally upsetting, I say, as that kind of stuff tends to be. Top 25 college football, best college football coaches. Interesting omission on this list, in my opinion, I would say.
Marcus Freeman, yeah.
Marcus Freeman. We might have to rewind a little bit on some of the comments that we made about Micah Parsons. Because for those just listening, the best pressure rate in the NFL since 2021 is Micah Parsons. Did you watch the cinematic masterpiece, Happy Gilmore 2?
Masterpiece, nostalgic masterpiece. I would give you that. It was one of the best, I would say, sequels in terms of being able to just jam pack all of the feels that everybody who grew up with that movie, the first one, had.
It didn't try to be what it wasn't. It was exactly what it should have been. And it was just packing the nostalgia, a little bit of TikTok brain level entertainment, just bash in there. Mike,
love that. Love it.
A lot of celebrity cameos. And you know what? I liked having the real golfers in there. It was pretty sick. And the Scotty Scheffler joke about him getting arrested and going to jail, that was funny. And I would say worst golfer actor was probably Rory. Sorry, Rory. Just wasn't buying. I wasn't buying his character.
Play himself?
Yeah. I couldn't believe that he was actually himself.
He just couldn't take direction well.
That's how bad he was.
It's your own self.
Exactly. But here's the reason I actually want to talk about it is because it kind of does comment on the nature of golf today. Like the old traditional PGA Tour versus the new LIV Tour in the movie, the Maxi Golf League. And we've got now, like we had obviously LIV UK, stuff like this, entrances like this, which was just straight out of the movie.
Bryson, John Rahm, Cam Smith. Heading towards the cauldron of 14, the party hole. And just listen, cauldron.
Okay. What do you guys think of entrances like this? Because this is like basically straight out of the movie.
It gives you a little taste of the football tunnel to golf, which I don't think it's so horrible to bring just a little taste of that to golf.
Yeah, if Bryson was like kind of doing a little skip run there or something, you know, getting a little hyped up, you know, getting a little energy in himself, then it would really start to feel a little better.
Yeah, it's funny. It's kind of like it's for the fans, and it kind of seems like it's kind of detrimental to the golfer walking up. Like it's such a distraction to the headspace they need to be in, but it's like they're doing it for the fans, so they have a little bit better time. For the golfer, I would just have my ears covered and walk up. Like a little.
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's purely for the fan. It's just for the TikTok brains who want extra stimulation for the game of golf. Okay, Mike, I see you nodding there. All right.
TikTok. Okay, it's bad for humans, but it's good for entertainment because it raises the standard of the entertainment competition because you have to
for 2 seconds. It's horrible for you. Horrible. You can't be. You can only be entertained for 2 seconds, and then you need a new thing.
New piece of candy. It's like Charlie and Chocolate Factory. Willy Wonka. Same philosophy.
Sure. What? Sure.
Well, I was going to say, going back to your point about this being a commentary on the current state of golf, right? So we've had the LIV conversation, the PGA Tour conversation, and then you have Tiger taking off with his indoor league and everything like that. So it was a cry to the people who love tradition to embrace it once again, and not fall into the pit of going TikTok brain or anything like that. And it was just like, hey guys, this is how ridiculous this could potentially get. And it's starting to tickle that.
Yeah. Hey, I think that's what I liked a lot about the movie, given all of its drawbacks and all of the, everything that you'd expect from a movie like that. I love that Happy went with the traditional golf league and tried to save traditional golf, and them also playing on the nostalgia tradition of the 90s that we all love and grew up with. I think that really tickled my heart there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I am pro Happy Gilmore 2, because it's not trying to be anything that it is not.
Yeah.
And it was a great Sunday afternoon watch.
Yeah, it knew the mission, and it succeeded in its mission. And ultimately, I think this was the perfect vehicle to kind of show, hey, this is the potential slapstick sort of entertainment we could potentially be going down, that route we could be going down. And using Happy Gilmore and like Adam Sandler sort of comedy for that is the perfect vehicle to be like, hey, watch it. Let's be careful here before we enter into this realm.
Adam Sandler's he's monetized slapstick better than anybody in the history of comedy. And he's made slapstick more widely appreciated. I appreciate his slapstick. I never thought a pie in the face would be funny, but it's the same caliber of humor in certain ways that he can tap into. But it's like a very inclusive humor, if you will.
Yeah, it's for everybody, and he brings his friends along. Adam Sandler is a national
You just
treasure.
watch him having a good time with his friends. That's what's so great about his movies.
Exactly. And he's fine getting a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes, but an 80% from audiences. Although the scores on Happy Gilmore 2 are pretty solid, both critics and audience. Okay. By the way, I do say.
Great.
Yeah, it's a great coming together sort of piece of content, and I think that's what the world needed, and the fact that it was golf focused is something unique. But ultimately, I think one of the best cameos in this was John Daly, because we all know that John Daly is like the real life version of what Happy Gilmore is, kind of, and like his lifestyle and all that kind of stuff. So I loved him being a part of it from beginning to end in his entire character. And then coupling it with Steve Buscemi at the end was the best.
That was fantastic. Also awesome that they had Ben Stiller come back as the nursing home guy, like playing the exact same character. It was fantastic. Good callbacks there. And you know what? It actually threw me a curveball. Not to talk too much about how Happy Gilmore 2, but like the first couple, not to spoil it, first couple minutes when a main character is out of there, I was like, whoa. I was not expecting that. Okay, so Happy Gilmore 2, national treasure there. Welcome back, Adam Sandler, Happy Gilmore. Yeah. Another sport that we got to talk about here is Serbian horse chariot racing. Okay, one of my you guys. No, the reason is
we're digging deep.
We're deep in here. It's a slow season sport. No, it is because our man Nikola Jokic, okay, obviously famous for seeming to not really care about basketball, despite being one of the best basketball players of all time. And like they won the NBA Finals, and he showed no emotion at all. And then this past weekend, his horse won. I'm not sure what this race is, but his horse won.
Oh my god!
Okay, and he showed. I'm gonna make the audio quiet because it's in Serbian. By far, way more emotion than he showed. He's in tears. He's crying. He just.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
It's actually unbelievable because he didn't show 1% of this emotion winning the NBA Finals.
That is so.
Look at him. He's crying.
funny.
He's in tears.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
He is so emotional, cares so much about this. Like, there's his passion. That's his passion.
Oh, yeah.
That is so funny. This makes his NBA demeanor so much funnier because it shows that he is capable of this emotion. It's just it really is not touched.
Yeah, here we can see the side-by-side comparison right here.
Oh. That's what it is. It's endearing. And you know Nikola based on like how he's reacting.
Oh my gosh, this is so
Spraying
funny.
the champagne. This is actually unbelievably funny.
He's angry that he grew to be as big as he is because now he can't do horse racing the same way. Like he can't compete there. That's his true passion, and he has to just shoulder the burden of being an NBA top 10 great of all time.
Fell back on basketball.
Poor guy, poor fella. He wanted to be a 5'4", 5'2" jockey. Said he's 7 feet tall. Like, what are you gonna make as a jockey anyway? I don't know, $38,000 a year if you win the chariot race. I don't. I just
Try double that.
try double that. I mean, have we ever seen an athlete so good not care about his sport at such a level, and then like see clearly that he is capable of this emotion just in something else? Like, I don't know if we can. Can you think of any other athlete?
Kyler Murray and FaZe Clan. You know his.
There
his
you go.
gaming.
Okay. Sure, that's actually pretty good. Although Kyler Murray is not nearly as dominant as Nikola Jokic, but he is an NBA or NFL starting quarterback.
Luke Musgrave.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
There you go.
Friend of the program.
Luke Musgraves.
Yeah,
friend of the show. Luke Musgraves and Nikola Jokic hate their day job, love their side passion. So very, very interesting. Just good to know that he has a passion, something that he cares about. I mean, he has something to go back to in Serbia. All right. There we have it. Let's talk a little bit about some slightly more mainstream sports. Just slightly more. Ichiro Suzuki in the Hall of Fame. What?
On to more mainstream sports. A name no one's ever heard.
What?
He's one of the best hitters of all time.
One of the best baseball players of all time. Mike, gosh, you suck. All right, Mike, I'll let you compose yourself. One of the greatest hitters of all time, played for the Mariners for forever.
And to the Miami Marlins, I appreciate David Sampson and Mike Hill for coming today. Honestly, when you guys called to offer me a contract for 2015, I have never heard of your team.
Roasted. Got him. But I think that this is just pretty big time because he's the first, I believe, the first Asian player to be inducted into the MLB Baseball Hall of Fame. And it's interesting because we're talking about like sports having more of a global appeal and how important it is for certain countries or territories or regions to have their players. And like we see it now with like Ohtani and how popular he is with the Asian market and just being such a superstar here. What do you make of this and how important do you guys think that this is for like the growing of a sport internationally?
We've been talking about this a couple times here, especially as things cropped up over the summer with baseball. It's like there's an explosion. Japanese baseball is just a slight notch behind MLB competition. Like the way in which there's a deep, like insane fandom over there in Japan for the game. There's something about the methodical nature of that sport that tends to connect with an honor-based system or honor-based culture of Japan in a way that's just absolutely different. And the fact that like Ichiro, I mean, I know Mike, you never heard of this dude, but this dude like popped onto the scene and was one of the. It was such a deviation from what we were used to, especially during the Royd era, where it was just Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Jason Giambi, all those dudes just absolutely crushing homers. Barry Bonds, like. That was big time baseball to us. And that was like American baseball. But then you saw this dude come onto the scene, and this guy's swing and the way in which he like approached the ball and attacked the ball was, I think he's the only guy that you could probably put, at least in this era, you could probably put him in the realm of a Pete Rose and the ability for him to hit the ball and put it in play. And the way in which he was doing it, the dude was like, his swing, because he was a lefty, it was almost as though he started running as he was halfway through his swing, and he was able to just place the ball similar to like a tennis player, like with the bat and the ball, and him just seeing the ball come off the pitcher's hand and then coming off the bat. Like this dude was second to none, and he was also like smaller stature dude, but insanely fast for a baseball player too. So like he changed the game for at least what Americans were used to. And he put up stupid numbers. So seeing him finally get his flowers and actually getting up there on the podium, like he is, for all intents and purposes, like revered in Japan. Yeah. Like this dude is untouchable, even with Ohtani, who's taken over the MLB right now. This guy is an absolute legend, walking and living legend.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. That's really well said. Here is footage of him in the 90s. I'm trying to find some of him in the MLB, but you could just see it a little bit like what you were talking about with his swing. I want to see. Yeah, no, I don't know if we can find. What were you going to say?
Well, I was gonna say it's like him because he played into his 40s, and like his style of play, it wasn't like I said the big swing, big home run hitting kind of guy. He was like I liken him strictly to a Tom Brady, being able to extend the lifetime of his career because he was so good at these small little details in the game and being able to place the ball, taking care of his body, like all of those skills that kind of fall by the wayside, especially if you look like an Adonis, like an Aaron Judge, all these kind of things. That's not to say Aaron Judge doesn't have those skill sets, but Ichiro took it to an absolute insane level and was able to extend his career well into the 2010s. To be able to do that in your late into your 40s is insane.
What a baller. Yeah, absolute legend. Ichiro. Okay, Mike, did you listen to that segment from Scott? Okay.
I learned something today. This is the education
for Gen Z. All right. So congrats to Ichiro. Pretty awesome. And you know what? Hey, actually, speaking of another Seattle Mariner, look who is currently favored to win American League MVP right now. Boy, Big Dumper. Cal Raleigh surpassed Aaron Judge, currently the favorite for the AL MVP. The last time that this happened, that a catcher won MVP, if this does end up happening, was 2012. I had it pulled up, Buster Posey with the San Francisco Giants. So it's been 13 years since a catcher has won American League MVP. What do you think of this? Do you think he's going to be able to, like, he's on such a run right now, dude? Do you think that he's going to be able to keep this up for the back half of the season?
Yeah, I don't think there's any indication that he's slowing. That's the big part, is like sometimes you'll see skids for like a week or two, but he's just staying steady Eddie, dude. Like I don't see him having a big fall off barring like injury or anything like that. So this would be really cool to see. It's also nuts in a sport like baseball where the bat or the catchers, they're usually behind the scenes, right? Obviously behind the plate and doing all that kind of stuff and always engaged in every single play. But like to see them swinging hot bats is something special. And I think it's pretty cool to see a catcher like even outpacing right now an Aaron Judge, like I said, an Adonis. The dude, you look at him and it's just like, what the hell are you doing on a baseball field, dude?
Hear me out. Okay. Because I feel the same way about catchers, and I know this is not gonna work directly 1-to-1. Okay, but to me, like the catcher almost in baseball is equivalent to the offensive lineman. Sometimes the unsung hero. Okay, and almost that's why I think it's so cool when like a catcher's in the conversation for MVP here, because it's almost like having an offensive lineman come in and be in the MVP conversation. Kind of. Like I said, it doesn't work 1-to-1, but it is a little bit of a unsung hero position here. I know obviously all this is coming from his hitting, but what do you make of that?
I like that. I like that comparison. I think there's, if you added a little bit of salt and pepper of a defensive player being in the conversation, as an MVP or even the Heisman, a combo of those two, this is what it's feeling like for Big Dumper right now.
Big Dumper, Mike, what do you have to say?
Big Dumper, that was my nickname in grade school.
Disappear for 30 minutes at a time.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Mrs. Cleary, can I go to the bathroom? This is all I have to say was I think it's so funny that we always, any sort of sports talk, we always find a way to find the football position equivalent. And I think it's so fascinating.
Comfort zone.
Yeah, that's what the people want.
That's
our bread and butter.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting though. It's such an interesting comparison. You find
the thing is, football is the sport I think that encompasses the most of the human experience, and that's why you can always kind of relate something back to it because it has everything.
And every single athletic movement, basically, is like every single athletic movement that across all sports, except for like racket sports, you can find the football position equivalent. That.
All right, let's see here. Let's see here. All right, speaking of athletic movement, let's see. How athletic do you guys think you are? Okay, I thought this was sick because it's so hard to comprehend like how fast some of these pitches are to the layman. Okay, because you think like, oh, dude, I could have probably hit that. Okay, no, you couldn't. Right, this shows how the perception of the speed of pitches, okay, at different speeds, going up from 40 all the way up to 100 miles per hour. And I want you guys to be honest, okay? Don't lie. Choose which speed you think that you could actually hit. Oh, 40 miles per hour. That's me right there. And I'm done at 40. 70.
How many tries do I get?
3. It's baseball. 3 strikes. You're out.
3 strikes.
Okay, that's like that's why you see like,
ooh, I couldn't hit 90.
The
couldn't hit
difference
90.
between like
100 miles an hour
an
is
80 to
ridiculous.
a 100, that's why it is crazy to see that, like with the 100, how shockingly fast that is. And you can see why it is so rare for guys to do that and so valuable for guys to be able to throw that fast. But 90 also, it's just like,
Yeah. The difference between 80 and 90, that's like once you start hitting 90s, now it makes sense why all those guys in high school who were throwing 90 would get all that attention. That is quite a difference.
I could throw 36 miles per hour. Last thing on baseball, we were talking about the Yankees having, great offense, terrible defense, because they were getting kind of roasted for their defense. They did trade for McMahon, and he played pretty darn well in his first game here. Check this out.
One more.
Damn impressive.
Ground ball and grab by McMahon. He gets the out at first despite the speed. What a play by McMahon. He has blasted some leather in these 2 games.
Well, we see him go towards the line yesterday and make
He looks so much like a baseball player also. He's a baseball face. But the reason we have this here is because
Baseball face.
Isn't there a distinct baseball face?
Yeah. No, there is. Also, baseball players look cool. They do look
Yeah.
cool.
Baseball.
It's the uniform. I don't know. It's the hat.
Yeah, they have aura.
I don't
They
know
do
what it
have
is.
aura.
Yeah.
Baseball has
Yes.
aura. But the reason we bring this up because we were making the comparison from New York Yankees to the Bengals here, and the Yankees signing McMahon and like shoring up their defense. And this brings us back to the Bengals defense. Do we think that the Bengals are actually going to shore up their defense and sign Trey Hendrickson? What do you think? Is it an omen that the Yankees did it? And
Wait, they haven't signed him yet?
No,
I thought they did. I thought they signed him
They're
already. didn't they?
dragging that out
Oh,
like the
wow.
Bengals love to do.
Jeez, that's crazy.
dragging that
Yeah,
out.
this is
Oh
getting
my gosh. That sounds like something I would do. Just keep procrastinating till the last minute. All right, well, we had to pay $100 million.
Yeah, watch.
oops.
Easy. Sorry.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think it's actually going to happen here, Scott?
I got to imagine it's going to happen. It's just I really wish that the Brown family would be watching at least what the Yankees are doing. I got a feeling that they're baseball folk. So they're probably watching this. Hopefully they're taking note because like you gotta help your future Hall of Famer, potential future Hall of Famer quarterback in Joe Burrow. I mean, he had an MVP type season last year. Your offense was churning at a level that was honestly very rare to see an offense do that. We're talking about like the greatest show on turf and all that kind of stuff. The numbers were, especially across a couple games, were very equivalent. And if you're not willing to help out that side of the ball, you're only going to continue to falter and fail to get one to the playoffs and then two to make a run in the playoffs. This is just, I don't understand. You're in the situation right now where you got the sack king for the past 2 seasons. You got one of the best guys. And I know this kind of cuts against what I was saying probably last week in terms of like production and defensive ends and all that kind of stuff. Does it translate even when you're getting doubled to wins? Are you able to take away wins? Like this is the one situation where that's like the question mark, but like Trey Hendrickson is incredibly effective because he actually gets the sacks. He actually gets to the quarterback. He actually takes eyes and bodies away from other people for the opponents. And I just don't understand what the dragging of the feet is here. It's like the market is the market, unfortunately. And if you're willing to part ways with one of the best pass rushers in the game, top 3, easy, like it's only going to hurt you.
I would have parted ways with T. Higgins. I would have gone, give me Jamar Chase, give me Joe Burrow, and give me Trey Hendrickson. I mean, you don't need no offense to receivers, but it's a lot easier to find a great receiver, a great number 2 receiver in the draft.
Yeah.
Or a young, cheap one.
Yeah.
You're going to pay 2 guys top.
Also, you never really think it like, where has it worked where there's 2 diva receivers? Not that they're divas, but like 2 top star receivers. Like it doesn't really work that well, I feel like. When usually you have 1 star and you have other guys that can
you think of one, Scott?
fill in underneath.
You got a guy who's the guy.
It's one thing. It's one thing. It all depends, I think, on the character of the person, right?
It's like having 2 popes.
Good movie.
It all depends on the character of the dudes, right? So like you look back to the mid 2000s, early 2000s with the Colts, and you had Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, and like dudes like that, Dallas Clark. You had massive production kind of guys.
True,
but every single one of those guys was like team focused first. You had a leader of Peyton Manning and all that kind of stuff. But when you're getting into the realm of like, as you're saying, like the diva sort of element, I don't know if that's like oil and water trying to mix. I think
also,
unless you have a really strong quarterback personality that can
And Joe
get
is
them
just
fall in line.
he's talking about dinosaurs and Batmobiles. He's just a little bit distracted.
It might be hard because they're two.
Yeah,
different
That
brands.
said, I know you could push on Joe for that, but like I actually did appreciate his sort of explanation of his leadership model, right? So like he's not a rah-rah guy. He's not like one to speak. He lets his actions speak for himself.
Yeah.
And I think everybody on that team was feeling the pressure because he was producing at, like I said, an MVP type level last year. And it's just like, yo, everybody else needs to figure it out. I don't need
Hey,
to
let me, as they say, let me push back on that. Maybe he needed to be a little more rah-rah because he had a historic season, an incredible season, damn near an MVP, essentially an MVP caliber season. And then they didn't make the playoffs because their defense was so bad. Maybe he needed to open his mouth a little bit. Maybe his lead by example wasn't working enough because those guys weren't following his example.
Yeah. I see what you're saying, but it's a matter of like he would have to approach the defensive room and make that, because it wasn't the offensive side of the ball that was
that's true.
that was faltering him.
Quarterback's the captain of he's the captain of the team, not just the offense.
Maybe.
Well, that's why they didn't make the
Hey,
playoffs.
Do you think that Tom Brady is classified as a rah-rah guy?
When he needs to be, but it's authentic.
Yeah.
When he needs to be.
Yeah, it's authentic.
Yeah.
You can tell
there
there's
are very few people who can walk that line that are
You can be like a silent killer, lead by example, and then when need be, like that's where I think Joe could have maybe,
Yeah, then it carries a lot of weight.
Snap. Yeah. If it's rare, but it's authentic, when you snap, then it does carry weight.
Yeah.
So, well, all right, going back here to Trey Hendrickson, we might have to rewind a little bit on some of the comments that we made about Micah Parsons.
I already started that rewind when I was saying, that kind of cuts against it.
Yeah, you were starting that rewind because for those just listening, the best pressure rate in the NFL since 2021 is Micah Parsons, nearly a 20% pressure rate. So we were kind of saying, okay, does Micah deserve to get paid the same as like a TJ Watt or Myles Garrett? And I was talking about, you know what, because I did bring up the fact that, okay, yeah, he's awesome, but a lot of his stats came from kind of lesser teams. That was more true. That was true in 2023. 2024, that was not true. So I need to step back on that because 2023, it was like, yeah, he had like 3 sacks against the Panthers and some against a couple other bad teams where he had like his high performance games in 23. 24, like he played well against the Eagles. He played well against a few other like good offenses. So I do need to retread my steps there. Apologies, Micah, if you're watching. Okay.
Editor's correction.
Yeah, there you go. Editor's correction. We put that just in the little footnotes here. I thought this was interesting. Jerry, because we always bring him up with Jerry. And it is interesting, this little soundbite from Jerry. It's like these guys are actually like really close, but they're in a huge public negotiation battle right now. So check this out from Jerry.
Not going to ask you about Micah's comments because I know you don't want to get into that, but it has been suggested that Micah is the player version of you in the sense of how he likes to talk to us. He doesn't shy away from his opinions on things. Do you respect that about him, though, the way he is with all of us and just that, he stands strong in his opinions as well?
I think Micah's as talented, maybe the most talented player we've had. And Deion, of course, had extraordinary talent. But Micah is very talented and he is very smart. And so all of that makes a great asset for the Cowboys. And so all of that is what it is. And I've enjoyed talking with Micah. I watched the Super Bowl completely with Micah and parts of his family. And then I watched the Big 12 championship game with his entire family and Micah. So I enjoy being around Micah, and we've just got to realize what we're doing here, and what we're doing is trying to take the resources that we have under the rules, and we're trying to allocate it to get the best guys out there at the same time. But Micah's fine.
They'll make a deal.
Yeah, they'll make a deal. Weren't you kind of surprised? Be like, oh shit, these guys are like really close. They watched the Super Bowl together and the Big 12 championship, and then Jerry's out in public like saying, "Well, we signed Dak and he got hurt. Who knows if we sign Micah if it's going to be worth it?" Like,
I think it's because Jerry's sport is business and negotiation, and like he can't help but go into what's the best negotiation tactic here is
Yeah.
maybe like publicly make him think that we don't care or moving on. Like, I don't know. I feel like his negotiation instincts are his priority in his mind because like that's his.
Okay. Yeah,
It's,
sure.
it's just business is how he's approaching it. And
exactly.
what I love about this clip is the fact that he had to drop Micah's name like 17 times because he called him Michael Parson the other day, and that had to correct.
Getting old, man. Hey, old guy. Okay, Michael Parson. Yeah, really, Michael Parson.
Old guys struggle with unique names.
Yeah, but come on, Micah.
Look, I love the fact that we walked it back, right? So
Good on us.
pressures, you know, there's a in the world of stats, right? It's ballooned to a point in which we're getting so granular where it's like, oh, this is the first time the Cowboys won on a Monday at 7 p.m. kickoff and it was snowing out sort of deal, or
Yes.
you know, those ridiculous kind of things. But with pressures, I think that actually makes a whole lot of sense. And I think it's wild that we haven't been actually having that as a statistic for defensive ends who that's all they're trying to do is get pressure on quarterbacks. So like, yeah, if it turns out to be a sack, that's awesome. But pressures are almost just as effective because it rushes the offense. It puts pressure on the quarterback, literally, and in trying to make decisions and making them make decisions quicker than they would prefer is always a good thing. And it gives your defense a chance. So like, I actually do love the fact that at least PFF here was highlighting it, and we got to bring it back up here. I would be curious to see, like, while Trey has the sack king stat, I wonder what his pressure percentage is.
Let me see
like TJ Watt and all that kind of stuff. Because if Micah's leading it, like, look, that's damn near as good as a sack, honestly.
Yeah,
in a pass heavy league.
Let me. I'm typing it in right now. Let me see if we can get. Okay, this is. I don't know if I can get it in multiple seasons. Okay, here, check this out. It's Micah Parsons. So this is games played. This is, no, this is sacks, isn't it? I thought this was pressures. Hold on.
How are pressures different than hurries? Isn't hurries already a sack?
Here it is. No, sorry. This is on
good.
hurries. This is hurries, which is the same as pressures.
Yeah.
Right. Trey is 2.
Okay.
So the top 2 pressure guys are unsigned. And then, geez, where's?
Okay, so this makes it even more damning that the Bengals haven't made moves. Like,
Max
come on.
Crosby down here. Myles Garrett's 11th. Jeez. Bosa's 12th. Where's TJ? Come on. TJ's not in the top 25?
No.
Is he?
It's got to be a typo.
Is his name? Are they typing out his full name, whatever TJ stands for, and we're missing it?
Maybe it's it has something to do with games played, because I know TJ's been battling some injuries here and there.
Okay. But this is a good point, Scott, that, so, I mean, it's good. Look, our journalistic integrity came to play here today. Okay. We walked back some of our impulsive comments about his 2023 performance that were led by me. And I do apologize.
You should tweet out a public apology and be really remorseful. And then post a video of you tearing up in the car by yourself out. Say, comments in the past have surfaced of me misquoting, and then have it fall out.
Good. I'll do something like that. Okay. So get those 2 boys signed, huh? Trey and Micah. Jerry mentioned Deion, and I think this is interesting because this brings us to Deion's been in the news here because there's an announcement that actually today he and his team will hold a press conference, his medical team. Now, we're not sure what's going on here. The press conference is going to be today. We're shooting this early. But I also saw a video of Deion saying eventually, like, that he was battling some serious medical stuff and that he had to make a will. And that it was like really emotionally upsetting, I say, as that kind of stuff tends to be. What do you make of this? Do you think that this is going to be leading down the road of the departure from Colorado for Deion? I know it's like really early. We don't even know yet what the press conference is going to be about or what they're going to reveal here, but what's the vibe you guys get from this?
I know that he has been dealing with a lot of health issues. I mean, the infamous like 2-toe or 3-toe picture of him, like he ended up losing toes because they had to amputate him for some reason. I forgot what it was, but I know he's been dealing with some like health issues for quite some time now. So the medical aspect of things isn't necessarily surprising here. That hey, maybe things have gotten more intense on that front. I think like look, as a father, you gotta think that obviously you have a much higher allegiance to your children and those that came from you, than say the pseudo children that you have under your helm. And I bet you, like, with health issues cropping up, the speculation is that he may be considering stepping aside and stepping down, because he's seen himself, he's got his boys to the NFL. He coached them to get that chance and that opportunity. And, he helped develop them. And along the way, he helped other kids do the same, Travis Hunter, as one of the others, big names guys. But, like, you got to make a personal decision here.
Man, he deserves to do whatever he wants. Like maybe people didn't. He rubbed some people the wrong way with his style and his brash nature and the boisterousness of his personality, but also part of it was cool. And yeah, he got his children to the NFL. He helped develop a lot of young men at two different colleges, Jackson State and Colorado. And I think he was a really positive, influential person for these guys on and off the football field. And so, like, we'll see what this medical conference or this medical press conference is all about. But also, even if he were to be like, hey, guys, I wanted to coach my boys. I did it, and I'm going to be done. Even if there was no medical excuse, I'd be like, good on you, man. You did it. Good job.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Do whatever you want.
I agree. He can do whatever he wants. He's Deion Sanders, 1. 2, he's done exactly what you said. He'd helped develop not just his boys, but a bunch of young men along the way.
Just, you want to get mad about something really quickly? You want to get annoyed? Yeah. I love getting mad. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I woke up annoyed.
No, I'm
All
mad.
right. Here we go. Billy Connolly of ESPN. He ranked the top 25 best college football coaches. Interesting omission on this list, in my opinion, I would say.
Marcus Freeman, yeah.
Marcus Freeman is notably absent from this list.
Well, I think maybe whoever made this list saw my analysis of his.
That could be. Maybe.
Just have to teach him a
lesson. How could you not have Marcus Freeman in your top? I'm not even saying put him in your top 10, but your top 30 of college football coaches of turning around that program in this last couple of years and getting to the national championship game.
That's crazy.
This feels weird.
This is like a personal vendetta type of list.
Doesn't it feel?
Above Kirby Smart should be at the top of this. Like, for what he's produced over the past 5 to 8 years at Georgia is incredibly consistent at the highest of levels. Defense on Philadelphia, the Eagles, is the Georgia defense of the past 5 years. So, like, it's crazy to have Kirby at 3 below Josh Heupel. And then, I'm a little angry that Marcus is not even in the top 30. I feel this is so disingenuous that he just wanted to stir the pot.
Lincoln Riley, he's been a massive disappointment at SC. Massive disappointment. Like, he's on a hot.
Are we just talking about, like, resumes here? Because, like, I know Heupel spent some time in the league too, and you got Matt Rule, who's at 30th. Come on. Let's not talk about Matt Rule until they break 500. All right, let's pump the brakes here.
Also, I hate the school and the football team, but Oregon's Dan Lanning probably should be in the top 30. Right?
Yeah.
Like, probably.
Yeah.
I actually, you know what? I hate to say it. I actually really like Dan Lanning. I watched a full hour-and-a-half interview with him. I like him. I know. Man. I'm so sorry. Don't tell our parents.
I should watch an interview with him. I'll see. I always respected the culture of Oregon when we were during our eras. I always thought they had a much more disciplined culture than we had.
Well, a lot of money will do that. Money equals discipline. Anybody will be disciplined for money. Okay. Last thing on here on college football, because I want to get you guys' thoughts on this, because we've been hearing all about the big NIL deals, like the multi-million-dollar NIL deals that, like, a lot of quarterbacks and prominent players are getting. But I thought that this was interesting. This brings up, like, the small NIL deals. In Louisville's NIL collective president, he says that these are very, very important also, is the art of the $5,000, the $10,000, the $25,000 NIL deal. And I think this is interesting because also, like, for example, our brother got a car or access to a car. Like, he got a new car in his sort of NIL college football deal here. So what do you guys make of this kind of stuff? I mean, this is kind of below the big headlines. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's great. I think the more players you can get some sort of financial help obviously the better. And I think if you can get a bunch of guys $25,000 deals, a lot of people are going to be happy overall versus just having a couple guys on the team making $500,000 or $1 million. It's going to lead to a lot of animosity, especially, if they're not performing up to that money or anything. So I think it's much better for the culture of the team if you can spread the level as much as you can.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys are getting deals closer to this 25, 50K, especially on football rosters where there are upwards of 80 to 100 dudes on the roster at a given program. Like you kind of have to spread it a little bit more than dumping it all into one person. Yeah, big dumper. Yeah, you can't do that. But yeah, this is like, I think this is definitely the way it's going to go. I think the big ticket numbers, like Nico getting 8 mil, going down to 800, like I think there's a ceiling to that, especially in the future when there will be some sort of cap that's put in place by some governing body, whether it be the NCAA or some other new formulated body. It's just coming down the pipe. And I think this is great for all parties. Like the guys keep guys happy where they're at so that we minimize the transfer portal hopping, because like I think that's also probably a part of this. And like they need to put more of the 25 to 50K deals to keep guys there and keep them interested in a program, as opposed to just jumping in the portal after week 3.
It's also like, it's great for team chemistry. I mean, Andy was talking about how they were like talking about, hey, everyone on the team's going to get 50K. And that's just what it is. That's what you get. You get a salary. Everybody on the team gets the same salary. It's like, I think that's, obviously some guys who maybe have a higher value quarterback or a star wide receiver might be pissed off, but it's kind of good for team chemistry. It's like, hey, everyone's getting a benefit here. And did I just argue for communism or socialism?
You did, Nick.
I think it makes sense if that's the base level, but and then you can move up and down based off of that, but you can't go below, say, a 50K.
Yeah, there you go.
You should copy the payment ratio tiers of the NFL.
So
quarterbacks make this percent more.
So UBI, Universal Basic Income.
So what I'm saying here is,
turns out Europe is not good for me, I guess. No, it's
equitable.
It's very equitable. We better shut this down before the Europe slips out of me. All right, so there we have it. Important show today, Scott, because Mikey learned about Ichiro. Isn't that good?
Ichiro, yeah. Good Lord.
Congrats, Mike. Ichiro. He's spending more of his time watching the Serbian chariot horse racing. That's so funny. Jokic is hilarious. Yeah. I love Jokic for that. So funny.
So
all right, there we have it.